Hello, my friend, and welcome back. Today, I want to do a little card pull and see what kind of message the universe has for us today. We've pulled this card before. It's the crumbling card. It just says, what are you clinging on to? And I think that this card is always very interesting to pull because I think it's always referring to something that is unexpected. Sometimes it is what you're thinking, but a lot of times, with this crumbling card, it's not exactly, at least for me personally, it's not exactly the first thing that comes to mind. It's not exactly the forefront thing that you're thinking that you should let crumble. A lot of times it is something that we don't even know that we're holding on to something, or we don't, whether it be a belief or, the idea that something should be a specific way, or something that you're trying to do that you should maybe, that maybe the universe is trying to redirect you in a certain way, but you can't move on to something new once you're clinging to something old. So that is kind of the message and the feeling that I get from this card, is that we need to be looking deeper and looking deeper into what we are clinging on to that is no longer serving us. I'm sure you've heard a lot about the talks of the new year, and I feel like it's almost every year, but especially this year, we're hearing a lot of letting go, to let go. And letting go is a part of the crumbling. It is part of letting go to create space for something new. So this card really encourages us to go within and to think about and to reflect on exactly what it is that we are clinging on to for fear that nothing is going to come in to replace it. Or sometimes I think that we get so dogmatic in our beliefs and our ways, and this could even be a spiritual way, and that you just think that this is exactly how you should be doing something, and maybe you need to change it up. Maybe you're clinging to that old routine, or maybe you're clinging to an old ideology that has evolved for you since then. Remember, it is okay for everything in life to change because life is change. It is okay for you to believe something one day or think one way one day and not think the same way the next. We are ever evolving beings. And I think that part of our job is just to keep us in ourselves in check, to be evolving. We don't ever really want to be going backwards. I don't know if there's a word for unevolving. Unevolving, is that even a word? But when we are changing things up, we don't want to be going back to old ways that weren't serving us, or clinging to those ways that aren't serving us. We really want to be evolving and coming into a new. And before you bring something new into your life, you need to ask yourself, is this helping my evolution? And if it's not helping your evolution, then it is a no. And sometimes things that are unexpected, or we don't expect them to be part of our evolution, actually are. That is where your intuition and your discernment come in. That is when you need to get quiet and really tap into your guides and the angels, and really ask yourself and ask them and ask the divine for help, to put it on your heart. What is the way that you should be going now? Please bring it to the forefront. Bring it to the surface of what it is that I'm clinging on to, that I'm not allowing to crumble. Please bring it to my attention. Bring it to the forefront of my attention. Those are the things that we can start to ask that will help to usher in this new earth, this new way. And that is the way we need to go, and that is what part of the spiritual truth that we are here to uncover is that we are not here alone, and we can ask for help, and the divine is always, always here for us. And that notion of not being alone and being here as a part of a team takes a lot of the pressure off. It takes a lot of the pressure off your egoic mind, and it takes a lot of the burden off of your heart, because when you feel as though you're alone and you need to do this and you got to make all these decisions and what is the right path and what am I letting go of and what am I bringing in, it tends to be a lot of pressure, just like a lot to think about. And in that allotness, it allows the ego to seep in and set in. So remember, the ego is very sneaky. So it can happen in the times that you least expect it. You may think that you're taking all this mental inventory, and then you realize you're kind of spinning your wheels because you are acting out of an egoic way. And that is something that we need to be consciously aware of. And the ego comes in during the thinking mind, when we are constantly churning and thinking and moving and trying to be proactive, when really maybe we should be standing still and getting quiet and listening more than we are thinking. Because when we start to listen and you truly start to tap into your intuition, that is where the help comes in, the magic comes in. That is where you are then able to kind of cross that veil and to bring this new reality to life, because communication with our guides is a big part of our new reality. And it was something that I think that in the old earth, we'll call it, was very much, it was only people that were gifted with this. It was only the psychics and the mystics. And you can call it whatever you want, but however, in this new earth, in this new 5D reality, the truth is unveiled. And the truth is that we all have these gifts. We all can take the time to develop these abilities to tap into our guides and angels. It is a birthright. It is a gift, but it's not a gift only given to certain people. Yes, certain people are just naturally born more sensitive, but if you have the desire to increase that sensitivity, you can do it. You just have to put energy into it. You just have to put the energy into the work, the clearing out the old, the inner work, the meditation, the facing your emotions, the facing all of the runnings of the mind that tell you that you're not good enough and you couldn't do that. And that might be scary and it might not work out. The work is facing those things head on and is taking a look at that and saying, is that the truth? Is it true that I am not good enough? We know that the answer to that is always no. There's never a moment that we are not good enough. There's never a moment. We are all children of God. So if we were all made in his eye, then and God is perfect, how could we be anything else but perfect, whole, and complete right now? We're evolving, we're learning. You would never say that a baby was imperfect because they were learning. No, you would think that the baby was perfectly imperfect because it was learning and because it was evolving and growing. Children are perfect. And in that sense, nobody's perfect, but in the divine's eye and in that way of, let me phrase it a different way. Perfection doesn't mean that you don't make mistakes and that you are not growing and evolving. Perfection means that you were cut from that divine cloth, which we all are, cut from that divine cloth of perfection. So we are just these perfect little spectacles, these little beings going out and having, right now we're having human experiences. So we are experiencing human things, but our divine self, our spiritual self, is a perfect divine being. And just because humans make mistakes and humans have egos, remember, it is only though the judgment to things. Maybe we came here to make these mistakes, to set off the type of ripples, or to learn the kinds of lessons that we need to learn. We don't know the sliced and diced reasoning for everything, and it's not for us to learn, because it blow our minds. Literally, our human minds can only take in a very tiny part of what actually is happening, and I truly believe that. So that is our message for today, the crumbling card. It'll be on my mind all day, trying to go in and reflect on what it is that I'm not letting go in. What kind of ideology that I am inflicting on myself, that I am clinging to, that I am not letting go. And I encourage you to do the same. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Anne, and I hope to see you next time.